The Knicks are over 500 in March, and their fans are excited about it. It is the first time it's happened since 2013. I'm Robin Lundberg here with Ben Pickman and Wilton Jackson. So just how happy should Knicks fans be? And I'm going to be here to tell you, let them live. Let Knicks fans live. It's been few and far between since there's been something to be happy about. Not all of them are going to be the most rational with their takes or their celebrations, but there are some things to be excited about. Julius Randle has been a bona fide all-star this season. Obviously, what Tom Thibodeau has done as coach, Derrick Rose has been good since he's got there, Ben. So it's not exactly championship or contender aspirations, but not being bottom feeders is probably something to be joyous about right now if you're a Knicks fan.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're probably right? If you look at the Knicks heading into the season, the over-under in most sports books was around 22.5. They're currently at 18. They're going to hit the over on that unless something really crazy happens in the second half of the year. But then I kind of think about a Knicks fan psychology, and you have the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. And the angel is saying what you said, Robin. Julius Randle's great. RJ Barrett's improved. Emmanuel Quickly's a great piece. And the devil then says, so what? So they can lose in the first round. And the angel responds, but they're developing good habits and maybe they'll get a star. And the devil responds, oh, great, star hunting, right? This is what got the Knicks into trouble in the first place. And then suddenly you just have this dialogue going back and forth about really where are the Knicks going? And this is the tortured cycle of a Knicks fan, the kind of positive into the negative and the negative into the positive. They haven't made the postseason since the 2012-13 season. It certainly would be an accomplishment if they did just that. But then in the back of every Knicks fan's mind is that little voice that said, great, so we can get swept by the Miami Heat in the first round, so we can lose to the Celtics or the Sixers or another team in the first round. That's that torturous cycle. And so I guess you can be happy right now in March, but come the postseason, I don't know how happy it's going to be when you're losing in 4 games.
Well, look, they still got to make the postseason, but I think that would be a win. What the voice in their head, I think, is actually saying is either Brooklyn or Porzingis. Those are the topics I see discussed the most amongst the Knicks fan base, to be honest. But they've only won one playoff series since I graduated from high school. So I'm not going to knock them while they're feeling good about themselves, Wilton.
You're absolutely right, Robin. And when I look at, the last time the Knicks were in the playoffs, that 2012 and 2013 season, I just remember some of the players that was on that team. You're talking about Carmelo Anthony, J.R. Smith, Raymond Felton, to name a few. So shout out to the Knicks, for being over 500 and being 4th in the Eastern Conference. But in their last 10 games, they've only beat one current playoff-bound team, which was the Indiana Pacers. Now granted, they beat the Bucks, the Jazz, the Celtics, the Warriors, and the Trailblazers at different times during this season. But, what will the Knicks be able to do as it gets closer to the playoffs? You're talking about, shout out to Tom Thibodeau and what he's been able to do with Julius Randle and, the Knicks having 4 other players in double figures in JR and RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, and Elfrid Payton. But to see what the Knicks can continue to do, you're talking about a Knicks team that has the 2nd best defensive rating in the NBA and 9th in defensive rebound percentage, which is going to be key for them moving down the stretch. But to Ben's point, what will the Knicks do when it comes to the postseason and playoffs if they're still in this particular position going down the stretch?
Well, if they make the playoffs, they're getting eliminated. But that's not the point, guys. The point is that they've maximized what they should be capable of doing. If you had told me this team before the season would be over 500 after this many games, I would have been genuinely shocked. So that's where the good feeling comes in, not any expectations. Because if they're getting their expectations and their hopes up, then yeah, those will come crashing down.